let's jump right into how to get a mortgage in Philadelphia. So number one, you're going to want to get pre-qualified. What does pre-qualified mean? What does your credit score need to be? The documents you will need. Number two, we're going to go over how much money you need to put down, breaking the 20% down myth, because it all depends on the loan program and other factors. We'll jump into an overview on what the different types of mortgages are: conventional, FHA, VA, USDA. And are there Philadelphia first-time home buyer programs and the different types of assistance that are available to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania residents. So getting pre-qualified, we're going to jump right into that now. What do you need, what documents you need, and some other information. So documents you're going to need. You're going to need the last 2 pay stubs. You're going to need the last 2 years of W-2s, the last 2 years of your tax returns, and the last 2 months of bank statements. Now, if you're not a W-2 employee, or if you're 1099 or self-employed, there's other things you 1099, we can use your tax returns, we can use bank statements, stuff like that. There's specialty things. If you're not a W-2 employee, just reach out to me and I'll tell you exactly what you need. I don't want to go into that in this video. But don't think you're automatically disqualified because you're not a W-2 employee and you don't have tax returns as a W-2 employee. So just know that. We're going to pull your credit, so we'll need your Social Security number, and we'll also ask for your ID. And what's your credit qualifications got to be for a conventional? 620 plus is the minimum for most lenders. FHA is 580, and this is for 3.5% down for FHA. The minimum is 580. There's differences with each one of these loan types and how the credit scores work. You see here, VA said there's no credit score requirement. There's not, but they still look at your credit, and you still have to. There is some qualification processes. It isn't just you have a 400 credit score and you're going to qualify. There's just no minimum requirement, but each lender sets their own standards for these different things. The government puts their guidelines out that there's no minimum credit score required for VA and USDA loans, but the banks and the lenders have the right to set their own standards for that. That's kind of just an overview of that. What do you need for a down payment? So conventional is 3% down. FHA is 3.5% down. You see VA's 0% down, USDA 0% down. So these are not absolutes, right? Every mortgage loan has its nuances, and there's different down payment structures that can happen inside of each loan. In real estate and mortgage lending, there's different things that can be done to change these numbers. These are just what you're going to find online if you search what's the minimum down payment for a conventional loan. But say you're going to go conventional and we want to make an offer to a seller, and we say we're going to request a 6% seller assist. And we could take that and put it towards the down payment or put it towards the closing cost. The same with an FHA loan. So there's ways around this number, but this just gives you an idea. So don't think if I don't have $10,000, $15,000 saved for a down payment, I can't buy a house. That is absolutely not true. You can still buy a house, and we have to find the right situation, the right seller, and there's different ways to go about this. So just don't think that because you don't have $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 saved that you automatically cannot purchase a home. That is not true. So that's why you need to call someone like me to walk you through this and make you understand how this whole process works. So you see the 0% down for a VA loan. If you happen to be a veteran, there's a funding fee. There's a 1% funding fee. So what that looks like is if you're buying a home for, say, $300,000, you would have a 1% funding fee. And that 1% funding fee would be $3,000, but you can have that rolled into the actual mortgage, where literally, your mortgage would be $3,000 higher, so you would eventually pay that, but it would be a zero down option for out of pocket. USDA has something very similar, but if you're looking in and around immediate Philadelphia, USDA wouldn't really apply because it's for a rural, more out in the country style loan. But if you wanted to move out that way and you find that attractive, that option does exist. So my name's E.J. Glenn. I am a licensed loan officer and also a licensed real estate agent in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. I am the founder of my team called Your Team, Your Town. We are real estate mortgage professionals. There's my contact information. And if you would go down in the comments, leave a comment, like, subscribe. The more you guys interact with this video, the more first-time home buyers I can help, and they get to see this video, and maybe I could help someone that thinks they couldn't purchase a home when they actually could. So I'd appreciate that if you would like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll answer any questions in the comments that you may have. Let's keep moving forward. The different types of mortgages. So there's the basic types of mortgages are FHA and conventional. FHA is really common for first-time home buyers because their qualifications are a little bit more lenient than conventional. So we just went over 3.5% down. Your credit score could be a little lower. Your debt-to-income ratio can be a little bit higher. And all FHA loans is that the government is insuring the loan for the bank. And then there's mortgage insurance that makes your payment a little bit higher because you're paying insurance on the mortgage that FHA is backing. A conventional loan is not backed by the government. It's by private lenders, and they may have private mortgage insurance as a requirement. The down payment can be as low as 3%, but you have to be more qualified credit-wise. So these are conversations you got to have that are more in-depth than me just giving you, an overview here. So if this is something you're really interested in purchasing a home, you need to pick up the phone and call me. You can text me. But to get this process started, you really need to pick up the phone and call me. Then next we have the VA loan and the USDA loan that I just talked about. The VA loan, you must be a veteran and they get a certificate of eligibility. To be eligible for the VA loan program, you must be honorably discharged. General discharges do not qualify. Dishonorable discharges do not qualify. You must be honorably discharged and you will qualify for a VA loan, and also your spouse. USDA loans, like I said, they are very specific to rural areas, and they have some different things you can do with USDA loans that you can't do with FHA or conventional. They're a very specific program that's backed by the Department of Agriculture. Philadelphia first-time home buyer programs. So there's local and state programs. There's down payment assistance programs. There's forgivable grants. There's grants that you pay back. So there's different types of things that the state and the city have, and some of them can be combined. So the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency has the Keystone Homeownership Grant, and they have the Keystone Advantage down payment assistance loans. So what the down payment assistance loan is, say you needed the 3.5% down and it was $10,000, and they would give you the $10,000 as they call it a soft second mortgage. So you would have a small payment for a certain amount of years to pay that back. And a lot of times these down payment assistance loans, if you stay in the house 5 years, it's fully forgiven. And the Keystone Home grant is similar. The Philly First Home Grant up to $10,000 or 6% of the purchase price, whichever is lower. You go through a counseling program, and same thing. It's a grant, so it's not you don't repay it back. But you may have to live in the house for a minimum of 5 years, and how that works is after the first year they lower that by 20%, so that $8,000 is now $10,000 is now $8,000. After your second year, it goes from $8,000 to $6,000 until that fifth and final year becomes zero. So what that means is if you were to sell that home during that first 5 years, say in year 2, you would owe back $8,000 of that grant at closing to the city. There's the neighborhood assistance programs that you could be eligible for. That's more in depth. There's more paperwork involved. And there's revitalizing neighborhoods programs. It's a pilot program right now with up to $25,000, but it has to be a specific area inside of Philadelphia that they have there's a map for that. Maybe some areas that are having some difficulties. They're trying to revitalize neighborhoods, and they're offering these $25,000 grants to people that want to stay in those neighborhoods and borrow there. So the two companies that I'm associated with for Your Team, Your Town is Nexa Mortgage, and our branch location is in New Jersey, but we're a national mortgage brokerage, and this is our local branch that covers PA, New Jersey, Delaware, and then Realty Mark Cityscape is right in downtown Philadelphia, a couple blocks from City Hall. That's our office there. Realty Mark is a regional real estate company that I'm an agent for. They're in Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. We have a couple thousand agents for Realty Mark, and I'm part of that also. So I work for these two companies, and I built my little team of other real estate and mortgage professionals to really cater to you guys to have a one-time or a one-stop shop to come and deal with one person through the loan and purchase process, because if you're buying a home for the first time, it can be very stressful. There's a lot of unknowns if you've never done it before, and we're good at dealing with first-time home buyers, answering any and all your questions. We're your advocate, we're your counselor. We hold your hand if you need your hand held. However you want us to help you get to home ownership and buy your first home. That's what our mission is, and that's the things that our team really likes to do. And these are the two companies that we do it through. So Nexum Mortgage has 200 lenders in our network. So we're a broker, so we can really shop for different loans and different programs. And we have more going on than any other bank. If you went to a Wells Fargo, say, they're not going to be able to have the amount of loan programs and flexibility that we have. I want to say, home ownership is the bridge to wealth. I'll give you a little story about myself. I bought my first home in 19145. I grew up in that zip code, and I still live there today. But my first home I bought there back in 1993, a fixer-upper. I was able to get a grant from the city, $20,000 grant to fix up the home, and then I stayed there 7 years, so the grant was forgivable. And when I sold it for triple what I bought it for. So this is what I mean as a home ownership is the bridge to wealth. Most people don't stay in their home more than 7 to 10 years. Things change. If you're young and you're going to start a family and you bought a 2-bedroom row home in South Philadelphia, and now you have you had a child, and now you're going to have your second child, well, you're going to want to upgrade. Well, not everybody does, but typically you're going to upgrade to a bigger home. Maybe you stay in the city, maybe you move to the suburbs, whatever it may be. But things change all the time. Buying that first home and building equity in it, so after 7 to 10 years, your home's going to appreciate. You're paying down your mortgage. So you're going to see some gains there, and you're going to have money to move. So thanks for watching again. My name's EJ Glenn from Your Team, Your Town. Here's my contact information. Reach out to me with any and all questions. I'm here to help you. There's a bunch of us here working for you guys to get you into your first home, and hopefully it's your dream home. And check out my channel. I have videos going up there all the time to help you guys with more information. And go to the description and get your free ebook on first-time home buyer, what's needed, how it all works.